welcome to our deep dive. And this one's really special. It's the Kilgoris Project, and it's just an incredible story about connection and empowerment,
Yeah, absolutely.
all darting in the heart of Kenya.
Yeah, the Maasai Mara.
Yeah, so picture this. It's 1999.
Okay.
John and Caren McCormack, they're
hmm
on safari, and that's where they meet Wilfred Lamiso.
Yeah, and this is really fascinating because this wasn't like your typical charity thing.
Right.
It was all about building those like genuine relationships,
Yeah.
really getting to know the needs of the community like from the inside.
And it's so interesting, like, when you think about the cultures.
Oh, yeah,
Like, you have this couple from California
right.
meeting a Maasai elder, and they find this common ground
Yeah.
through their Christian faith.
That's really the foundation for everything
It's-
that comes later.
It really is. And that brings us to, a key principle of the Kilgoris Project, or TKP.
Yeah,
It's all about walking alongside the community,
absolutely.
not like telling them what to do.
Exactly.
So let's get into the specifics, like how did they do this?
Okay.
So TKP officially launches in 2002
Okay.
with this mission to empower the Kilgoris community through education, healthcare, economic development.
Wow.
But they're being so sensitive to the Maasai culture.
Right.
But what really stood out to me was the education piece.
Okay.
They built these amazing schools,
Yeah.
Olelole Primary, Oltakampu Primary, and Nantekani Primary.
Wow.
But they were designed to be so much more.
Oh, yeah, they were central hubs.
Yes.
For the entire community, you could find families learning about health and nutrition.
Right.
Even sustainable farming practices. They
Yeah.
really got that. Education wasn't just about academics. It was
Yeah.
about empowering people with like knowledge and skills to improve their lives.
And I love how they brought in those Maasai values.
Oh, yeah, like respecting your elders and a deep connection to the land.
Yeah.
It wasn't about replacing their culture.
Right.
It was about finding ways to enhance it.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the big reasons why TKP has had success.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't come in with this attitude of, we know best.
Right.
They listened, they learned, and they adapted.
To the community.
Yes, and the Kilgoris community.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they figured out
Yeah.
the secret to sustainable change.
And it all goes back to that first meeting and just like the deep respect they had for the Maasai culture.
Yeah, and one of the best examples of this
Okay.
is the healthcare initiatives.
Oh, yeah?
They recognize that for many in the community, traditional healers were vital
Yeah.
to their healthcare system.
A vital part of their healthcare.
So how did they handle that?
Well,
Did they try to replace that with Western medicine?
no, not at all. They didn't see it as like an either or.
Okay,
It found ways to bridge the gap
okay.
between traditional and modern healthcare.
So they blended the best of both worlds?
Yeah.
That's got to be tough to do.
It is, and they did it by working really closely with local healers and healthcare providers.
Okay.
They realized that working together was so much better than just forcing everyone to do the same thing.
Right. So it wasn't like our way is the only way. It was like, let's figure out how to make this work for everybody.
Right, and they had these workshops
Mm-hmm.
where the healers and the modern healthcare people
Yeah.
could share their knowledge
Yeah.
and learn from each other.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it helped build trust and understanding.
Okay, that makes sense. So I bet that was really important for their mobile clinic program.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Imagine a very equipped medical clinic,
Wow.
on wheels,
Wow.
going all over the Maasai Mara,
Right, to the people.
to the people who need it the most.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, things like vaccinations and prenatal care.
Right, to them.
Right, to them.
So they were meeting them where they were
Yeah,
both physically and culturally.
physically and culturally, exactly.
That's awesome. I bet that had a huge impact.
It did. They reached people who might not have gotten any medical care.
Yeah,
And it wasn't just about treating people who are sick.
right.
It was about preventing people from getting sick
Okay.
and teaching them how to stay healthy.
So it sounds like they had a really well-rounded approach to health and wellness.
They did. And that focus on the whole person
Yeah.
carried over into their economic empowerment programs too.
Right. I was reading about their locational training.
Oh yeah, they had courses in everything.
Yeah, tailoring and carpentry and even modern farming techniques.
Yeah, they knew that for things to change for good,
Mm-hmm.
people needed opportunities to make
Yes.
a living.
And I love how they didn't just focus on individual success.
Right.
They encouraged people to use their skills to give back to the community.
Yeah, the people who learned to sew,
Mm-hmm.
they made school uniforms for the kids.
Wow.
It was this ripple effect of good stuff.
Yeah, because then it's not just about getting help. It's
Right.
about being part of something bigger.
Exactly. And their work with the women's groups was just amazing.
Yeah.
They knew that when you empower women,
Yeah.
it changes everything.
For their families.
For families and communities.
Yeah, I read that they helped those groups get small loans.
Yeah,
And
microloans.
business training.
Yeah, so many of those women started their own businesses.
Really?
Everything from selling crafts to running farms.
That's
It
awesome.
gave them independence, and it helped the economy, too.
So they created this like system
Yeah.
where education and health and economic opportunities all work
It
together.
all worked together, and it was all on purpose.
Wow.
They knew that real change
Yeah,
takes time.
right.
It's about investing in the Kilgoris community for the long term.
Now, even with all the good intentions, I bet they ran into some challenges.
Oh, of course,
Mm,
dealing with bureaucracy and cultural differences,
yeah,
it wasn't always easy.
right.
But what's amazing is how they never gave up
Yeah.
and how they were able to adjust to whatever came their way.
And they were so transparent.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I read that they were open about their successes and their failures.
Yeah, they weren't afraid to admit when they messed up.
Yeah.
That really built trust.
Yeah.
It showed the Kilgoris people that they were true partners,
Yes.
not just outsiders telling them what to do.
And that really resonated with the community?
Yeah.
It's amazing how Wilfred Lemiso,
Yeah, the man who started it all?
yes, he calls John and Caren brother and sister.
Wow.
I mean, that says a lot.
It does. It shows how deep their relationship was.
Right, and it just shows that the success of the Kilgoris Project wasn't about money or programs. It was
Right.
about human connection
Yeah.
and trust and love.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the things that matter.
Yeah, but how did they deal with, like, the tough times?
Yeah.
Like, when things weren't going so well? I mean, that's got to be hard to keep going for over 20 years.
It is. They've been really open about the struggles.
Right.
They've talked about money problems and cultural misunderstandings,
Yeah.
and even times when they wondered if they were really making a difference.
So how did they get through those times?
Right.
What kept them going? So how did they, through those times, what kept them going?
Well, they've talked about their faith, and like how the Kilgoris community never stopped believing in them,
Yeah.
that give them strength.
Yeah, it's like when you have a shared goal that helps you push through the hard stuff.
Exactly. And it shows how genuine they were. The Kilgoris community could tell that John and Caren were in it for the long haul, that they really cared.
Yeah, it wasn't about like getting attention or anything like that.
Right. It was about building something that would last, something that would help the community for years to come.
And you can really see that in what they're doing now with environmental conservation.
Oh, yeah, they've got these programs to protect the Maasai Mara
Mm-hmm.
because they understand that if the land is healthy, the people will be healthy too.
It's like they're not just thinking about right now.
Right.
They're thinking about the future too.
Exactly. They get that sustainability means taking care of everything, the people, the economy, and the environment. It's about leaving a legacy that's good for everyone.
It's pretty amazing to see how this all started from a chance meeting on safari, and now it's this huge thing that's making a real difference.
It is. It really makes you think, what can we learn from John and Caren? What can we take from their story to help us make the world a better place?
That's a good question. For me, it's about being humble. It's not about forcing your ideas on people. It's about listening and learning and helping communities find their own way.
I totally agree. And it's about building relationships that are based on respect and trust, you know? Like we're all in this together. We all have something to offer.
I think their story also shows how important it is to keep going, even when things are tough. They hit roadblocks, but they never gave up. They kept adapting and finding new ways to make things work.
Yeah, that's so true. Their story reminds us that even small acts of kindness can make a big difference. I mean, they started with just a conversation, and look what happened.
Yeah, it shows you that anyone can make a difference. You don't have to be rich or famous. You just have to care about other people and want to help.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into the Kilgoris project, I want to leave you with this. What's one small thing you can do today to show kindness? Maybe volunteer, donate to a cause, or just reach out to someone who needs a friend.
Every little bit helps. You never know how your actions might inspire someone else or make the world a little bit brighter. And if you want to learn more about the Kilgoris Project, we've got links in the show notes.
Thanks for joining us. It's been a real inspiration.
And until next time, keep exploring and keep believing in the power of connection.